Hello student. In this segment we are going to learn Geography Class 7 Chapter 3 Our Changing Earth. Before starting this chapter, we recall from the first two chapters what we have read in the previous chapters, that the first chapter deals with the our environment. So we come to know about what our environment is, from the which kind of resources we get, how the nature they used to form. Then later on we come to know about the features of the earth, like the physical features. We talk about the geographical features, how the rock have formed, how the plateaus have formed, how the mountains have formed. It is with the volcanic eruption, you can say, with the volcanic activities. In the environment chapter we have learned about the hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere, ecosystem, then the others a system which it form the environment. So now in this chapter what we have to learn is that our changing earth over a period of time, unlike if you can on the daily basis, or if you can say the monthly basis or the yearly basis, or you can say each bit of time, if we do not know, so it is going to change. Like if we talk about the lithospheric plates, then the endogenic force, exogenic force, earthquake, volcanoes, then the focus, epicenter, major landforms, weathering, erosion, work of a river. So this all the points we're going to cover in this segment. So like our changing Earth over a period of time, if I recall it, which I told you in the previous segment, that our Earth is not. It used to take numerous of the years to make the particular. It takes the millions of years. Means earlier it was like said that it was the uh, ball of a fire. एक आग का गोला, a ball of a fire. Like earlier times, what are going to happen? That a star used to earlier the star was used to collide with each other, or the asteroid or the meteorites, they used to collide with each other. Then the later on, number of the bunch of the gases, they used to collide with each other, they used to become a ball of fire. After that the star used to collide with each other, maybe the galaxy used to collide with each other, or the asteroid or meteors used to collide with each other. So they, after the millions of years, then our planet earth sustain over there. Earlier it was the fire. The later on here it's developed the, you can see the mountains, not a mountains, you can't see the mountains, the structure, a particular kind of structure. Then we find the unicellular organism. So later on we find the how the physical features were formed. So how it's formed, we're going to learn by learning from this point in details, that how the earth changes take. And one more thing you have to keep keep in your mind is that on the daily basis, or you can each bit of time, the earth is going to change, we do not know. And one more fact I am giving you, that we thought that the earth is constant and the earth is revolve around it. That is exactly true, but our sun is also moving, our planets are also moving around it in such a direction that we don't know how they are moving, but still they are moving. They are, the sun is not a constant, they are moving. Doesn't mean it moving around it. It used to travel like this, the sun is travel like this, and planet is revolving like this. So this the kind of circulation is going on. If you want to refer it, you can refer it from the NASA's video, you can refer it for the ISRO's video. If you are interested in the astronaut, so you can refer these videos, you will come to know that the earth is the constant. That is true, that we are reading that and we are studying that, but it also moving slowly by the all the planets, but the humans can't come to know about it, how it is moving. Now we're changing over the earth because of the weather, because of the, you can see the inside the earth, that the number of changes take place, so by which the physical features were formed. So we're going to read in detail our changing earth. So like you have the idea that take a small colored paper palette, put it in the beaker and have the fill with the water. Place the beaker on a tripod stand and heat it. As the water warms up, you will observe that the paper pellet is moving upward along with the warm layer of the water, and then sink back along with the cooler layer of the water. The molten magma inside the earth moves in the similar manner. So I have read about the molten magma in the previous chapter. Then in the second chapter I have read about the molten magma is in the center of the earth. So it used to come outside the earth over a period of time. Now start with the lithosphere. The lithosphere, which I already told you, litho means the stone. The land, right now like all we are living on the land. Lithosphere is the broken into the number of plates known as the lithospheric plates. For the other number of the, you can say that number of the plates, the direction, you will come to know them in the higher classes. So you will be surprised to know that these plates move around a very slowly, just a few millimeter each year. Now they used to move millimeter each year. This is because of the movement of the molten magma inside the earth. Because of the movement of the molten magma, the molten magma inside the earth moves in a circular manner shown in the activity. Consider this as the Consider this figure, and this is the epicenter, or you can say the molten magma from which it has emerged. Then later on we can discuss about this. The movement of the plates causes change on the surface of the earth. Now it causes the changes on the surface of the earth. The earth movement are divided into the basis of forces which cause them. The forces which act interior in the earth. Now forces which act inside the earth, that is called endogenic, and the forces which act outside the earth, it's called the exogenic forces. So this is the table, the evolution of the land form, how the land used to become. So it starts from the earth movement, endogenic and exogenic, sudden force, earthquake, volcano, landslide, dystrophic forces and the building mountains. Then the exogenic forces, erosional or the depositional, river, wind, sea waves, glacier. Now, endogenic forces sometimes produce the sudden movement and at the other times produce the slow movement. Slow movement. So other times they produce the energy force sometimes produces a sudden movement. Sudden movement is we do not know. If you heard the yesterday's news, that is the date is 29 May 2020. You heard about that in the Delhi. You saw like they feel the earthquake. The Richter scale is around 4 point something. So like how much the you can say the how much of the Richter scale the earthquake used to come over there, or the people are saying that in the this particular month they feel the earthquake for the 5 times. So think about it. It's didn't give the alarming. Sometimes it used to give the alarming, but sometimes it used to come in the sudden form. We do not know what the things are going to happen by the nature at any moment or any moment of the time or any you can say anywhere, any place, any of the time. So volcano caused the mass destruction over the surface of the, yes, that is true, that which we discussed in the second chapter, that the volcano, there are the number of the places in the world where there are the active volcanoes and where somewhere there are not the inactive volcanoes, where what you will find that the when the volcano eruption started or the volcano activity started, so nearby the places around 10 to 20 kilometers, so 50 kilometers, they emptied that place. Why they used to empty the place? Because why which they have to the people do not die with by breathing that particular air, and they do not suffer from any kind of disease. So the people used to left that places for a like few years. Maybe if it didn't take place, they used to shift their places from one place to the another. If we talk about the Africa, we talk about the Japan, especially we talk about the most of the active volcanoes are in the Africa. You will find in the Hawaii, that is in US, then you will find in Japan. So there are the number of the active volcanoes. So now this is the picture of volcano, which I already explained you in the second chapter. In this chapter I will also explain you. So this is a volcano. So this is the molten magma from which it started, the lava. So this is the mantle, this is the crust, this is the magma, and it starts from that. The lava went Qatar and the cases and the edge. Now this used to come, this lava used to come upside, and this is in the form of the, you can say the smoke or the ashes. This is the from the like far away, if you see it look like a smoke, but it is a ash, and this is the magnet chamber where you will find the magnetic fields. If you have the idea, the center of the earth or the epicenter of the earth, you will find the magnetic fields we show the north and the south. If you recall from the second chapter, yes, we find in the mantle we find the nickel and the iron, or you can see the ferrous. So for which we come to know, that doesn't mean that we take out that much of the land towards the metal, and then after that we take out the iron. We find the iron on the upper crust as well. So we do not need to go towards that, because it is how much kilometer? If you recall it, it is 9,000 kilometer. So this is the volcanic activity which starts from the molten magma. When it used to, over a period of time, it used to come upside. So it show in the ash form, and then this lava used to come the outside. This is the you can see the mountain where we can see the volcano used to come outside. So the endo means inside, which I already explained. Exo means outside, plus genic means origin, endogenic, exogenic. Similarly, when the lithosphere plates move, the surface of the earth vibrates. The vibration can travel all around the earth. Now, vibration used to travel all around the earth. This vibration are called the earthquake. Now, this vibration you call it as the earthquake. The place in the crust where the movement start is called the focus. Now, the movement where it started is called the focus. So this is the focus. The place on the surface of the our focus is called the epicenter. So face, now this is the epicenter. There you can see the arrow and written over there the epicenter, where the earthquake or the vibration used to start from this frequency, or you can see the vibration, not a frequency, the correct word is the vibration, are called the earthquakes. Again I am repeating, the surface of the earth vibrates. The vibration can travel all around the earth. This vibration are called the earthquakes. This place in the crust where the movement start is called the focus. The movement where it start, which I already told you, it's called its focus. Above it's called the epicenter. The place on the upper surface focus is called the epicenter. Vibration travel outward from the epicenter as waves. Greatest damage is usually closest to the epicenter. The strength of the earthquake decrease away from the center. So now you can see this. This is the focus. This is the epicenter. This is the plate boundary, and the seismic waves radiate out in all the direction. So origin of the earthquake starts from the, you can say, the mid or the center part of the earth. When it used to emerge, it is where the earthquake occurs. It is the origin of the seismic energy, and the upper part we used to call it as the epicenter. The seismic wave radiated out in all the direction, and the plate boundary. Now how will we come to know that? Now, destruction caused by the earthquake in Gujarat. You have, I think, you have heard about this in the 2001, 26 January 26 Jan 2001. There were the, you can say, by the natural disaster in the Indian history. That is the Gujarat. The number of the places was destroyed by the due to the earthquake. We talk about the Kutch, if we talk about the Bhuj, if we talk about the nearby places of that, the number, or like all the places, number of the places in Gujarat, they were destroyed, like the buildings, the number of people used to died, and the number of the places were there. You can talk about the village, or maybe you talk about the small of the towns. They were submerged under the land. I'm not using the word water. They were submerged under the land. They were completely destroyed. Even none of the human beings will live over there. None of the animals will live over there. And all where we find the dead bodies and the destroyed building, or the destruction of the building. So although the earthquakes cannot be predicted, yes, which I already said that we can't predict that anywhere it's going to happen. If we talk about, if we go to some place, if the sudden of the natural disaster used to come, so we don't know when it used to come, any moment, any time, anywhere. So in the impact can certainly be minimized if we were prepared beforehand. Yes, if we are before prepared for that, then we can minimize this. Some common earthquake prediction methods adopted locally by the people include studying animal behavior. Yes, if we studying the animal behavior, the birds movement, the voice, sorry, not the birds movement, the birds chirping, the dogs barking, and the sudden movements of the animals, maybe the domestic, the wild, any of the animals, any of the creature of this planet. So with the sudden movement of this, you can say the sudden change in their behavior, then we would come to know that what kind of disaster, or what kind of, you can say, the bad energy is going to come or going to happen in our this planet Earth. So this is the thing that the adaptive locally with the people, including the study behavior. Fish in the pond get agitated, and they used to try to come outside from the river. Then the snakes come to the surface. The snake who used to live inside the earth, they used to come upside, because they this creature having some special qualities by the nature, they come to know what the things or what kind of a disaster is going to come. If you see, like if the tsunami used to come, so bird used to move from one place to another very at the very faster rate. If we talk about the marine animals, so they used to come towards the, you can say, the coast of the sea, or maybe they used to go center of the sea to save their lives. If we talk about the animals, they used to bark, like if we talk about the dog, they used to bark when in a very high pitch, and they used to run, at a very faster rate to go from one place to the another. This time the same thing for the birds also, they used to fly in a very faster rate that they want to save their life. So these are the sign of this animals or this creature which they used to tell you that something is going to happen in the planet Earth. Now later on you can take the, which I already explained, the Kutch and Bhuj. So these are the newspaper articles of earthquake hits in the Bhuj, and the school was affected. The school was affected, and the Bhuj relief effort was bretted. CM appealed to the center. Images declare of the quake and fire in the city. Now the earthquake preparedness. Where to take the shelter during the earthquake? Safe spot. Yeah, where do you have to take the shelter? First and foremost, you have to go. If you have the bed, and you can go in under the bed, you can go the corner of the your room, you can go in the you can go under the table. So these are the the things which you go over there, and when the disaster took place, it might happen that you will save your life. So it is given over here that the under the kitchen counter, table or a desk, against an inside corner of the wall, which I already explained, inside the corner of the wall. Stay away from the fireplaces, just like if we talk about the kitchen or the LPG gas, if we talk about the any other like the electricity. So area around the chimney's window and the shutter, including the mirror and the picture frames. Like if the like something is going to come from the upside and it is to hit with your window, so that particular glass is going to hit you. So from that you have to far away from that, and you have to underline under the bed or the table or the desk, where you will find a safer place, or the corner of the room, so you can take the place over there, and you can keep yourself safe. Be prepared, spread the awareness among your friends and family members, face any disaster confidence. Now if they're talking about the earthquake, an earthquake is the measure with the machine called a seismograph. Yeah, this is the machine where we come to know that the earthquake is going to come. Most of the time it used to help, but sometimes it is not going to help. So the magnet of the earthquake is measured on the Richter scale, which give you the example of Delhi, that the yesterday on the 29th May there were the Richter scale on which they're saying that the 4.3 or 4.5 Richter scale there was the earthquake in the Delhi. So an earthquake of 2.0 less than felt only a little, an earthquake over 5.0 damage from the things falling. Now the 5.0 is the, you can say, the higher one where it can damage the things. 6.0, the higher magnitude is considered very strong, and 7.0 is classified as the major earthquake. So in Gujarat, there were the Richter scale of more than 7.0. That's why the Bhuj and the Kutch affected the most in the Gujarat in year which 2001. And if you want to remind the date, so the date is 26 January 2001. After that, number of the times the earthquake used to come. Nowadays also it used to come at the few places, but the Richter scale at between 0 to 1, not more than that. But yes, this is also considered as the dangerous. If so someone who wants to make their houses, so they have to check whether it's used to come under the earthquake zone or not. Then after that you can build your houses. Now come towards the next one, that is the major landforms. What is the major landforms? So on the earth we find the different major landforms. Somewhere you find the flatland, somewhere you find the fertile land, somewhere you find the mountains, somewhere you find the plateaus, somewhere you find the desert. So how they used to form over a period of time, this thing we're going to know in this chapter. So it starts from here. The landscape is contributed borne by two processes, weathering and erosion. Now you thinking what the weathering is. The weathering is the thing, the river used to starts from the Himalayas or from the mountain areas, from which it used to take number of the sediments, the rock and the sand and the rocks and the pebbles. So from which that used to come, it's called the weathering. If we talk the erosion, what the erosion is? Erosion, it's with the three types. From the wind, or you can say with the wind, the soil used to go from one place to the another. Then from the glacier, Yes, I'm taking the glacier, not a glacier. When the heavy rainfall were there, so the fertile land used to, or you can say the flood water used to take the fertile land with dams up. So it is the erosion of the soil. And the second thing, if you use to deforestation, or you can cutting more and more trees, so this is also the one kind or the one condition of the soil erosion. So erosion is weathering away from the landscape by the different agents like water, wind and ice. So the erosion is the weathering away the landscape by different agents, which I already explained. The water, that is I give you the example of the flood, then I give you the example of wind, then I will give you the example of the glacier, which comes under the ice. The eroded material is carried away or the transported by the water, wind, etc. and eventually deposited. This process of the erosion and deposition created a different creation, by which we can say that how the erosion will take place, first for the wind, second from the glacier or you can say the ice, and the third from the water, and eventually deposited. This process of erosion and deposition created different landforms on the surface of the earth. Work for a river. Now what is the work of a river? So first we will come to the, do you know there are the thousand of small waterfalls in the world. The highest waterfall and highest waterfall is the Angara Falls of Venezuela in South America, and the other waterfall that is, you have heard about this name, the Niagara waterfall, located in the border between the Canada and the USA in the North America, and the Victoria on the borders of Zambia and Zimbabwe in the Africa. So you have to keep this in mind. The waterfall, the highest waterfall of the world is the Angela Falls in the Venezuela. You will find in the South America. On the border of Canada and USA, you will find the Niagara waterfall. And the third one is the Victoria Falls, which you find in the Zambia and the Zimbabwe. That is in the Africa. So work of the river. The running water in the river erodes the landscape. Now, which I already explained, the pebbles, the rocks, the sediments. So when the river tumbles at the steep angle form over a very hard rock. Now, this is a steep angle form over a very, this is the very hard rock. From this, they used to come like in the steep form. Consider my hand as the rock, and like this, the water used to come from the steep side, the steep angle over a very hard rock or down of the steep well inside it form a waterfall. So it's a hard rock, soften the rock under the cut by the power of the water over a period of time. Like when the river want to make their way from the rock or from the hard rock, so over a period of time it may be used to take the 1 year, 2 year, the 5 year, but that stone make the way for the river to pass from it. So like we can, in the other word we can say that the river have the quality to pass their water from the stone. As the river enters the plain, it twists turn forming the large bed is known as the meanders. Now what the meander is? This type of mold and they make the way is called meander. So this is the meander. Written over here, there is the arrow, and this is the meander where the river used to make their way. We can't say the river used to flow in the straight way or in the like in a particular direction. It used to flow in any of the direction. So when they, by molding it, by going in any of the direction, they make the meander. So this is, we used to call it as the meander, or you can say the, in simple words you can say the curve. Due to the continuous erosion and the deposition along with the side of the meander, the ends of the meander loop come closer and closer. Now the loop used to come closer and closer. In the due course of time, the meandered loop cuts off from the river and form a cut-off lake, so also called the oxbow lake. Now you think what the oxbow lake is, when the sum of the sum or the few parts of the river which is cut off from the main river, then we used to call it as the oxbow lake. So this is the oxbow lake, where it is erect or it is apart from this river, or it is make like it is left behind by the river by making the way. So this is we used to call it as the oxbow lake. At a times the river overflow is bank. Now certain times when there is the heavy rain, so certain times there is the overflow you will find in the rivers. So at the time of the river overflow its banks, this leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. Now yes, it is leads to flooding in the neighboring areas. If you heard in the news, every year in the Assam, in the some part of the Bihar, or you can see the northern state, every year you find the flood situation, especially in the Assam. If you recall of the Kerala flood, yes, it is was affected due to the heavy rain. If you if you recall about the Uttarakhand incident due to the heavy rainfall, how the flood situation emerged. So these are all the things by which that due to the heavy rainfall, the flood emerged in the river, and the nearby the areas was affected by the floods. Then the floods. Its deposit layer of the fine soil and other material called the sediment along its banks. A time the river overflows its bank, this leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. As the flood, it deposits the layer of the soil and the other material called the sediment along its bank. This leads to the formation of a flat fertile floodplains. Now, after the flood, after the water used to come in their normal condition, or they make that particular land as wet. What kind of land? A fertile land. These raised the banks are called the leaves. Now they used to call it as the leaves. So these are the leaves. You can say this side. These are the leaves. When the river water is used to, you can say, submerged by the land, and some of the water used to erode by the, you can say, the number of the waters used to mix with the ocean. So they left the fertile land. So this we used to call it as the levees. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of the flowing water decreases. This thing which I have explained many times, when the river emerged from the Himalayas, it used to come with very faster rate, but it used to submerge with the, or when it used to mix with the sea or the ocean, it decreased their speed. And the river begins to break up. Now here what the river going to break up into, the number of the stream is called the distribution, or you can say when they used to divide but the particular river. Think about this as a particular river. It divided into different of the channels, or you can say the streams, that we, this thing we used to call it as the distributaries. The river becomes so slow that it begins to deposit its load. Each distributor forms its own mouth. This, the collection of the sediment from all the mouths form a delta. Now, they all this thing, what they form the delta. So far, in this first segment of the video, what we have discussed is how the changes take place in our Earth. It starts from the earthquake and the volcanic eruption, that in the lithospheric plate, then what the lithospheric plate is, this is are the plates which used to change every year with how much the measurement, that is the millimeter. Then later on we come to know the endogenic force, the force which is emerged from the inside of the earth, then it is called the endogenic force. Exo means the outside, the force which has come outside the earth, which we used to call it as the exogeny of the earth. Then we recall about the earthquake. So there is the focus from which the vibration or the seismic wave is started, and above side feel the vibration, that is called the epicenter. From this side we can say the earthquake used to emerge. The later one we talk about the volcanic eruption. The volcanic eruption is what, from the lava, the molten magma which used to over a period of time, which used to come outside in the form of the lava. And that lava, then if you see the ash, the clouds, or you can say the black clouds, or you can see the smoke, that actually is the volcano axis, by which we come to know that how the volcano eruption started, due to the you can say the molten magma. Because inside the earth, or the deep inside the earth, or the center of the earth, we have the molten magma which is in the molten form, and which we used to call it in Hindi पिघला हुआ एक आग, जिससे ये volcanic eruption emerge होता है. Later we talked about the focus. So focus, which I already explained, the seismic waves which originally started from the center of the earth, that is called the focus. And where you find the vibration of the earthquake, that is used to call it the epicenter. Major landforms, yes, we have the major landforms when the river starts from the emerge from the, or starts from the Himalayas. Then with it, the number of sediments, the pebbles, the rocks, they used to erode with them, and after that it used to form the number of the landforms, like which the where this river used to flow, everywhere you will find the fertile land, and it used to distribute in the different of the channels, or the distributing, by which they can change their direction. So they make the meanders, they make the leaves, and the sum of the river which is cut with the main river, then we used to call it as the Oxbow Lake. So what the Oxbow Lake is, the some part of the river which is going to be apart from the main river, or if you have seen in this picture, the some part of the river were there, so that we used to call it as the Oxbow Lake. Now then we talk about the levee. What the levee is, the in this rainy season, due to the heavy rainfall, where we find like you can say the river were overflowing. So after over a period of time, when this river water is going to, you can say, the river water is going to mix with the sea, or the some of the, or they used to divided into different of the distribution. So in that case, what we can say, that they used to submerge under the sea, first and the foremost thing. So nearby the land, they become the fertile land. Then we later on come to know about the weathering and the erosion. So erosion is happened by the wind, ice and the water. So how with the ice, from the ice, the like from the mountain areas, from the Himalayan areas, when the from the wind, or you can say in the form of the hailstorm, not a hailstorm, in the form of the ice sheet or the snow. So this they made this soil erosion. Then the second one is with the heavy water, when on the particular agricultural land or on the particular farmland, when there you find a lots of rainwater. So we from that particular water, and that water is so much you can say the overflowed, so that particular land going to with that water, so we don't find the fertile land over there. Then we talk about the wind. Yes, from the wind, that soil particles used to move from the one place to the another. Then later on we talk about weathering, which I already explained, and work of a river. That the work of the river is to make the thing is this is the hard rock from the river. It used to come like this, it make a steep and make an angle by which it used to make their way from the hard rock. Then I already explained about the meander, the levee and the oxbow. And in the second segment of the video, we further going to discuss the what are the things is going to happen. I hope you like this video. Thank you.